The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Bootleg Racing League's Champion Shootout Series with the second annual Chris Kyle Frog Foundation 125. Tonight, we're going to do some racing at Southern National on the Global Sim Racing Channel and iRacing Line. I'm Adam Young, in for Shami Ambrose tonight. In the right-hand chair, as always, Dawson Brock, running the show from behind the curtain, Mr. Joe Peak, and using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Of course, we are racing tonight in support of the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation, created by Ty Kyle, the wife of late American hero Chris Kyle. The organization does a lot for helping with the family support network of military members and strives for its 4 pillars: loyalty, empowerment, integrity, and excellence. They do a whole lot. So I encourage you to go check out their website at www.chriskylefrogfoundation.org. But of course, here tonight, Dawson racing at Southern National Speedway, one of the newer short tracks in the iRacing service. Distinctive yellow walls. I think they had yellow walls long before that other track in some Carolina or something like that. But hey, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about Southern National?
Well, thanks. This was first opened in 1993, and in 2.5 decades, this track has earned a great reputation as one of the premier short tracks. Its 17-degree banking produces a lot of entertaining racing, but tonight I think we're going to expect these super late models to stay down on that bottom lane that seems to be the fastest lane tonight. Let's take a closer look and hop on board the GSRC super late model.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around Southern National Motorsports Park in the GSRC Super Late model. This is going to be a quick one, so here we go. Down into turn 1, let it roll through the very tight apex, aim for the bottom, and then cut it right out there towards the wall. Back down into turn 3, same thing. Let it find the middle here, rotate in, and then get back onto the gas. Southern National is kind of like a really banked Martinsville. It's about the only way I can describe it. Back down into turn 1, out of turn 2, keeping that same flow. You're going to get into a nice rhythm with the engine sound too. Easy in, hard off. That's what's going to be the key to get around this joint across the line. And that's going to complete our track guide here around Southern National Motorsports Park. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
So that's a lap around Southern National here for tonight. Now, these guys have already been out there running a little bit, practicing right now. Of course, about 10 minutes left in practice. They had some heat races earlier on as well. So let's go ahead and get an idea of what it's like out there right now, what the track conditions are like. I believe Dawson Brock is going to catch up with Matt Hoos here.
Yep, Matt, welcome to the booth. How you feeling tonight?
Oh, okay. This has always been a decent track for me.
Oh. All right. You're good. Oh, my bad. All right, sorry. Yeah. How do you feel about this car? Is this car good for you?
Yeah, it's a good car. Bottom feeder car for this track. You definitely got to stay down low. Hopefully the high line will come in a little bit later, but I don't know. So I think we're going to be hugging the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing, just looking at practice and all of that. Now, this is an all-star race. It's mainly just bragging rights. Is there anything you're going to do different, or are you just going to try and put that car in the best position to end this race?
Well, we got to try to get up front. It's going to be a little difficult. Ran into some trouble in the heat races tonight, so unfortunately I'll be starting tail end of the field. But so with JR starting up front and I'm starting in the rear, you got to kind of save tires for this long of a race, but at the same time you got to go. So it's going to be kind of a, I guess there's really not much of a plan. Just kind of feel how the race is going.
All right, well, good luck to you tonight. Hopefully we can talk to you later.
Yep, hopefully. Thanks for doing this, guys. We'll catch you later.
And that was Matt Hoos there, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go ahead and bring Mike Holloway into the booth right behind him. And Mike, hey, how'd you do in the heat races here tonight, Mike?
Oh, not quite as well as I wanted to. I just really couldn't find any speed, but it seems like I'm picking up a little bit here in practice now that the sun's gone down.
Well, now, of course, you mentioned the sun going down and everything else. We're looking at a car that likes to run the bottom. Do you think we're going to see a transition to where that high line starts to try to come a little bit more into play as the race goes along, maybe for the sake of saving tires?
Nah, I really don't think so. I think what you're going to see is pretty much what we saw in the heat races. You can run out there, you can maintain beside someone, but I don't think you're actually going to move forward and pick up any spots out there. I think you're going to be glued to the bottom all night.
Well, okay, and I've noticed that you got folds of honor on the hood of your car, and I'm happy to say I'm not the only one to have at least ran a folds of honor car somewhere in iRacing before, so great to see that. Tell us a little bit what folds of honor means to you and what the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation means to you also.
Well, Folds of Honor is really, they're just a fantastic organization. They do great things for the families of veterans who've paid the ultimate sacrifice, and to me, being a veteran myself, it's kind of an honor to carry them on my car, and more of a point of pride for me.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't carry the Chris Kyle one. I do have veterans tickets. They're kind of the same thing. They do really good things for veterans.
I'll have to look up veteran tickets before. I haven't heard of them, but Folds of Honor is definitely something. We got a shirt hanging in the closet for Folds of Honor there. So, hey, Mike, it looks like you're a little bit down on speed, but everybody's still pretty close here for tonight. One last question for you: what is it going to take to come out in front at the end of this race?
I think the main thing you got to figure out if you want to win this thing is how to beat that 98 car. JR is fast everywhere we go, so I think tire management is going to be key. If you can keep the Hoosiers under you and keep them in good shape, you might have a little something at the end.
Alrighty, well, hey, Mike, good luck tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you here at the end of this thing.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Hey, no problem at all, and I also want to thank Mike for his service and everything else, and Dawson, of course, tonight. It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's setting up to be an exciting race, and every chance I've had to come over and do a Bootleg Racing League race, they just put on a whale of a show. Don't let the fact that we've got a 125-lap race here for tonight with 11 cars on the track think that we're going to be slimming on the action. We're probably not. So I'm looking forward to this race because we got the best of the best here tonight. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what this race is going to consist of?
Well, I'm thinking, like we've heard from both drivers, it's going to consist of saving tires. You got to be at the end, and you have to have a car for the end. We talked to Matt. He's starting 7th tonight. I think he should be okay you got to pace yourself. It's a 125-lap race. Stay out of trouble. And we know these Bootleg Racing guys, like you said, they always put on a great show. They're great drivers. They all know what they're doing out here. This car, though, it's a different car, so this should be really interesting. I like this car a lot. I don't know about you, but this super late model is one of my favorite cars.
Let's just say the one time we ran it in the Pacific Majors earlier this season, I was heartbroken that I wasn't able to run the race because I like this car very much too. And of course, we are running the super late model here for tonight, just like most other Bootleg Racing League races. This is going to be a fixed setup. The grid was set by the heats earlier on. So when we're talking about starting positions and you see practice going on, that's because the grid was set here earlier on tonight. These guys do get one faster pair like normal races, and of course, we're not going to do tires or anything like that. These guys are going to have to finish the race on the tires that they start on, and no incident cap. Now, they do double file restarts, but the lap cars are at the back of the field. There is a lucky dog, but it is handled manually by the admin, so that'll be something to watch out there for too. Hey, Dawson, we got just a few minutes here. I'll admit, normally I try to watch the Bootleg Racing League series, particularly the modified series that we have here on GSRC, but I missed the last one. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened last race?
Well, last race, the standings were pretty set in stone. J.R. Shepard had the race wrapped up going into it. But that didn't mean that they weren't going to put on a show. Everybody was out there racing for keeps. It ended up with J.R. Shepard getting the win. But in the meantime, we had a massive wreck that involved the entire field but one. But in the end, J.R. Shepard, he's the man. He really knows what he's doing in that SK Modified and ended up getting the win just to top off his championship run. A great run for him all year. And now he has to come here into the All-Star race. Maybe he can put on a show as well.
Well, of course, we will be looking for him to maybe put on a show, maybe do something with it. Of course, momentum's a big thing to these guys, and that's part of the reason, too, why a lot of these guys look at these end-of-season specials and hopefully, use those to carry on that momentum from one season to another. We're sitting here right now. We're looking at getting pretty close to being about 2 minutes before the start of the race. I don't think we have any cars on track practicing right now. I'm sorry for asking this question on air, but Joe, are we able to go to the grid? Okay, so we'll have to wait here for a minute for we show you guys the starting order here for tonight. That's okay, but definitely a competitive field out there. Now, one thing you guys might notice on your screen once we start going through the grid, you might start seeing the names, lists, and everything else. If you see a C in front of your driver's name, that's going to mean that they were a previous champion. There you go, right there. Mike Holloway, you see the C in front of it. That's not a captain C. He's not leading a hockey team out there. It is the C for being a previous champion in this series. Of course, this is their championship series that they do, in fact, run here. In fact, there is the man, J.R. Shepard, running that 98 Sitco machine. And I think he uses the same template I like to use on my super late models. I love that Mustang. It's a good-looking car right there. So we'll be seeing him probably setting pretty good pace here for tonight. Second on your leaderboard in practice with 13.663. So he's going to be pretty quick once again here tonight, Dawson.
Yeah, he seems to know what he's doing on these short tracks. But another guy, actually the guy on top of the boards, Philip Temple's also a past champion. He has the top time right now, beating Shepard by 0.03 of a second. So they're all pretty close. Just behind them, Jeff Sharp at a 6.8. So all these really close times are only 0.3 separating all these guys. They all know what they're doing. It's a short track racing league, and they should put on a great show.
Yeah, so we'll be very quickly finding out who's the one maybe that's trying to sandbag a little bit, or maybe the one that was working on saving their tires, maybe even in practice as well. You heard Mr. Hoos talk about the need to balance maybe between going fast early and saving those tires late. So I think that'll be one thing that I'll be keeping an eye on here as well. So these guys got about just a couple seconds left here in practice. You're watching the clock tick down on that GSRC timer up there in the upper left, and we'll be getting this Bootleg Racing League series race going here in just a minute as these guys wrap up their qualifying laps. Dawson, real quick, do you got a pick for tonight?
I'm going to take the man with the number one time, Philip Temples. I have a feeling tonight he might be able to top J.R. Shepard.
All right, so you heard the pick right there. He's going with Philip Temples. So we'll see if he ends up being right. Dawson, we won't hold it against you. We won't withhold your paycheck if you're not right there. So, all right, now I think we should be able to go to the grid, and we'll take a look at the starting order for this race. Now, these guys are going to get 2 pace laps here, and starting on the pole is going to be J.R. Shepard. Alongside him, Tim Shinowski.
Donnie Moore starting on the inside of row 2, and outside of him, Jeff Sharp.
Lowell Jewell, hey, series organizer, at least one of the series organizers here at Bootleg Racing League Series. Big thanks to Lowell Jewell. Great guy to talk to as well. Matt Shinowski starting alongside him in 6th position.
We talked to him earlier. Mike Holloway going to be starting in that 7th position, and outside of him, John Hine.
Brian Dean starting in 9th. Matt Hoos, also another guy we talked to earlier, starting in 10th. That's going to make up row 5.
And last but not least, Philip Temple's going to round up the field in 11th.
Okay, so that means Dawson Brock is going for a guy to go from last to first. Everybody take note of that. He is not able to change his pick as we have now completed the first pace lap. Lights are off on the Mustang pace car. We're going to be going green here in just a minute. Balancing act. These guys, they're going to have to do between going fast or saving tires. That's one of the stories we'll be watching here for tonight. We'll see who's going to be able to accomplish that the best. J.R. Shepard getting ready for them to take the green. Green flag is out there, going, hammers down. J.R. Shepard is away. He doesn't get the greatest start compared to Tim Shanoski, but gets into turn one a heck of a lot better. In fact, Tim Shanoski kind of gets a little bit tight going into one, and J.R. Shepard's going to take sole command of first place, and Donnie Moore is going to take second position as well, away from Tim Shanoski, and they're going to run nose to tail for the first 6 spots. You got to go back to 6th and 7th position where you'll find Mike Holloway and Brian Dean back there fighting side by side. That's for 7th and 8th position, I believe, back there. And that was your only side-by-side battle. And now Matt Hoos is going to try to take Mike Holloway, 2 guys that we talked with right before the race. Now, it looks like this is the back end of the field, but hey, 11 cars on the grid for today, but these are all hyper-competitive guys, so be expecting a little bit of bumping and banging, and maybe a little bit later on in this race. They are not able to spread out all that much. J.R. Shepard up front, not able to run away here as we complete the first couple of laps of this race. We're now running lap 5 of 125 here for tonight. Dawson?
Man, this front of the pack, J.R. Shepard, Donnie Moore, it's something we saw all year. J.R. Shepard just able to beat Donnie Moore by 1 or 2 positions. This is your 1-2 finishers from this season leading this race.
So 2 guys that, just historically, especially here over the last season, have not been able to separate themselves from each other. And once again, you're seeing that here for tonight. So right now, from first to last, the gap is about 4 seconds. So 4 seconds encompasses the entirety of the field. And looking right there is a battle with Mike Holloway and Philip Temples. Philip Temples trying to make up another spot here, trying to kid up into 9th position. Started last on the field, so he's already been able to gain 1. You're already starting to see that single groove racetrack there, Dawson.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see that for most of the night. That's what I expect. Maybe that bottom side, as we get 50, 60 laps on the track, it'll heat up. iRacing has that dynamic track. It's really, really cool addition to the sim, and just adds that extra bit of realism that iRacing is always pushing for. A great thing to see, but I don't know. I don't think that high side is going to be much of a factor tonight.
Well, we were hearing Mike Holloway and Matt Hoos talk about how, on the high side, you might be able to run side by side with the guy, but you're certainly not going to be faster with him on the low line. So we might see a little bit of maybe old school type Bristol type racing. Maybe you got to use your bumper a little bit to try to get ahead a little bit later on in this race. But John Hine looks like he might have gotten himself into a little bit of trouble just a minute ago. I think he got into the wall. His right front fender's a little bit tweaked. He's running in 11th position. Trying to see what happened to him here. I'm pulling up the GSRC replay. Just drifts a little bit high and catches that outside wall, but the Miss Budweiser machine back there not looking the healthiest at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a product of this track. High banking, you really arc that car in there, and it's coming off with a lot of speeds, and sometimes you can just overshoot it just a little bit and scrape the wall like he did there.
Yeah, another victim of that, of doing that same kind of thing. Looks like maybe Matt Shanoski now has some right front fender damage. Brian Dean does as well. And even your second place runner and your third place runner now showing some damage there on the right front. So guys get a little bit close to that outside wall and starting to tweak. Good thing aerodynamics don't really play too much of a role at this track, but still, you still want to try to keep that front end as clean as you possibly can. Up front, still J.R. Shepard. As we go back to 7th and 8th position, we'll find Brian Dean and Matt Hoos going side by side. There is Brian Dean. We're going to have Brian Dean is around. Yellow flag on the speedway with a little bit of a half spin there. First yellow of the night. These guys get on the brakes a little bit here. We go to the GSRC replay. Dawson, call it.
Well, they're side-by-side racing hard for position, and it looks like Matt Hoos just going to drift up out of his bottom line and just get into the side of Brian Dean. Just racing hard, I think, just a racing deal.
Well, it may not be the only time that we see that here for tonight. Right along with Philip Temples, he had a bird's eye view of it here, going down into 1 and 2. You'll see one guy go low, one guy go a little high, a little bit of contact, and that is short track racing, ladies and gentlemen. But no major harm on either one, but Brian Dean is going to go ahead and come down pit road, as well as John Hine as well. And they'll be coming back on track as well here in just momentarily. In fact, you see them pulling off now. So a couple beat up fenders, but that's about it as far as damage so far in this race. Very clean race here so far, as we've already been able to click off about 21 laps.
Yeah, and I think it's been pretty clean racing. We've seen that single file trend just kind of come into play, and I think we can expect that most of the night once they get spread out. Now they're going to have to do it again with this double file restarts that we see.
Well, those double file restarts will be happening here momentarily. Lights are off on the Mustang pace car. It's one thing to note, short track and short field as well, so pit cautions should be relatively quick here for tonight when they do happen. So just wait for that Mustang pace car to pull off, and there he goes. Green flag is out. J.R. Shepard with a great start out there, and here they go. You've got Donnie Moore trying to fight back on the outside against Tim Shinoski. Tim Shinoski is the one that has the inside this go around, the exact opposite of how the race started, but Donnie Moore able to hold him off here so far, as this time around they're double file going back from second, third, fourth and fifth, and sixth and seventh positions all double file back there.
Ooh, now a little bit of contact. Lowell Jewell getting into the back of Jeff Sharp. This car will be okay though.
Yeah, starting to hear a little bit of wall contact already. Once again, a little bit of car contact as well, but no harm, no foul. Everybody's able to keep going straight.
Now Matt Hoos and Lowell Jewell on your screen, side by side racing hard,
contact.
and now Lowell Jewell around.
Lowell Jewell with
No
the half
caution.
spin. The unfortunate person in all of that was actually Matt Shinoski, who had to take evasive action and got into the wall pretty hard. Right on board. Matt Shinoski still in the wall here, looking at him live. So here you go. You'll see a little bit of contact. You'll see Lowell Jewell with the half spin. Matt Shinoski takes evasive action hard into that outside wall. No caution on the speedway.
Matt Shinoski, it sounds like he got a little bit of a bump.
We're checking that out here.
Telling us.
Okay. So, yeah, we got a little bit of contact there with John Hane, and that's why he ended up going up into the wall there. So, anyway, everybody is back going straight. Now, the question becomes, how long are we going to be able to keep those cars going straight? Couple cars with damage now. Matt Shinoski falling off the pace. He's about 7.2 seconds back behind the field. He wants a caution now. He just doesn't want to be the caution. Another thing to figure out, to contemplate here, look at John Hine and Brian Dean. John Hine now has, with that contact and getting into Matt Shinoski, now has quite a bit of front end damage. Is that going to impact him later on in the race with engine cooling? Is his engine going to be able to make it the rest of the way? So storyline starting to shape up here as Matt Shinoski went ahead, came down pit road, got his fast repair. I think ultimately he'll end up a lap down, maybe 2 laps down, once everything shakes out here in just a moment. But Matt Shinoski back on the speedway with a clean looking Hardee's machine, so he's back out there. Meanwhile, up front, J.R. Shepard still leading this race. He is over Tim Shinoski by about 0.6 of a second. And so far, Tim Shinoski not able to do anything with him here so far. I've been watching Donnie Moore a little bit. We've seen him drop a few positions. His race car's looking a little bit loose out there, Dawson.
Yeah, I don't know if he maybe heated them tires while we were looking over that replay. I didn't get a chance to see, but it looks like my pick for tonight, Philip Temples, just catching him and now going to bring it down on the outside. Donnie Moore not going to even challenge him. He's going to give him plenty of room to make the pass.
Well, I'll put it like this. If you end up picking a guy that goes from last to first, I will buy you a beer sometime, all right?
All right,
So,
I'll hold you to that.
all right. So here we go. These guys still running pretty clean out there. Only one caution so far, but 2 incidents out there. And other than that, actually, I think Tim Shinosky here, if we look up front, I think he's just maintaining the gap between him and J.R. Shepard. Now, the question becomes there, Dawson, is maybe Tim Shinosky a little bit faster than JR right now, or is JR saving his tires, or maybe Tim Shinosky saving his tires?
Well, I think I know just from watching JR race and all of them races, he kind of saves his tires, and then all of a sudden he'll just kick it into gear at that right when he needs to. So we'll see here in a little bit. If Shinosky's able to catch him and stay right at his bumper, then I think we'll have our answer. But I have a feeling JR's got a little extra that he's saving right now.
All right, laps continue to click off here. We are now at lap 41 already here for the race this evening, as we are under the lights at Southern National Speedway with the Bootleg Racing League Series, their champion series for the Chris Kyle Frog Foundation 125. So racing for a great cause. Looked like somebody was high there just a second ago. That was Donnie Moore. Donnie Moore is going to lose another position to Matt Hoos. Is now on your screen. Had a good battle there with Mike Holloway just a second ago, but Donnie Moore continues to drop back. His car, I think you might be right there, Dawson. His tires might be a little bit angry at him.
Yeah, on this car especially, you have to be nice to them tires, and they'll be nice to you. I don't know. I think maybe he just tried to push on that restart. You know, he started high, raced high on that high side for a couple of laps, and then started to fall back. Something's not right on that machine.
Yeah, so there's watching Donnie Moore continue to lose a little bit of ground to Matt Hoos, as now he might have to worry about falling back into the clutches of Brian Dean here before too long. Definitely not a position that you find Donnie Moore in very much. Once again, if you're just joining us here, you're going to see the names crawling across on the screen. This is a non-points event here for tonight for these bootleg guys. The C that you see in front of the names, that is indicating the previous champions in the series here. Of course, this is a championship series event to honor the previous champions of the series, and we've got a few other guys in here as well for this evening. Looking back now, there's Mike Holloway and Lowell Jewell going at it. They've been kind of locking horns here the last couple of laps, but Lowell Jewell just cannot find a way around Mike Holloway as of yet. Funny enough, these are two guys that actually have still some clean looking cars, where most everybody else has kind of tore up their right front fender just a little bit, getting into that outside wall. So hopefully no commentator's curse hits those guys here in the next few laps, but they are definitely looking clean out there here so far. You see the lap times there. Mike Holloway almost 0.2 of a second faster on that last lap. Another guy that is actually faster out there, and looking at his last lap time, Mike Holloway was actually a little bit faster than him. J.R. Shepard up front here is leading the way still. He is still about 0.6 of a second up ahead of Tim Shinosky. And then you got to go back another about 0.9 of a second to find your way back to Jeff Sharp. So the front three right now looking good, looking clean. And the closest battle on the racetrack to the front, I would have to say, is Donnie Moore slowly falling back into the clutches back there of Brian Dean. But there's still a pretty good gap between those two guys as well. So things are spreading out here a little bit, Dawson. You know, with that, how's your pick looking? How's Philip Temple's looking?
Well, I've been impressed by him. He was able to go all the way up from 11th to 4th, so that's a feat in itself. I think he kind of started in the back. He started behind a bunch of cars, so I think his tires might be a little bit less. He's going to need some cautions and a couple resets, I think, and he'll be more of a contender. But right now, 2.5 seconds, that's a lot of ground to make up to J.R. Shepard, and as he loses about 1/10 of that lap, so I think he's going to need a reset to get all bunched back up.
Well, right now, you might be hard-pressed to come by a caution, as we've only had one caution here so far in the first 56 laps of this race. But starting to see some guys get loose out there. You may want a caution, you just don't want to be the caution, so you still got to keep your car pretty clean. J.R. Shepard getting ready to run into a little bit of lap traffic. He's got John Hine about half straightaway up in front of him right now on your screen. You got Mike Holloway out there as well. There's John Hine. That front end beat up on that Budweiser super late model. Hasn't had the best of nights here so far. A little bit of contact earlier on, and now is going to be falling back into the clutches at J.R. Shepard. Now go back to J.R. Shepard here, and Philip Temple, at least looking at it, Philip Temple is starting to get a little bit closer. That gap was 0.6 of a second. Now it's about down to 0.4 of a second. So Tim Szymanski trying to do something here with J.R. Shepard. You might be right. You might be maybe JR's just waiting for that moment to kick the car back into high gear, but right now Tim Szymanski's catching him. Maybe he could use lap traffic here as a pick.
Yeah, especially if that lap traffic doesn't get out of the way right away. As you see on your screen, John Hine making a very nice move just to get out of the way of the leaders. So it looks like Szymanski's not going to gain too much time, but he's slowly but surely, you can see he's kind of catching him little bit by little bit. You just got to remember those tires. You got to keep them in the back of your head. You got to remember ultimately that's what you need to save. That's in order to finish this race.
Well, finishing right now is going to be one thing that's on everybody's mind as we are at about halfway for this race here for tonight. We are crossing lap 63 with only one caution on the books. We're starting to get into a little bit of lap traffic. John Hine a few minutes ago. J.R. Shepard out in front of the thing. Let's work our way through the field here real quick. Kind of a short field here for tonight being a special event. J.R. Shepard out in front. He's led so far every single lap. No one else has had a chance to see the clean air of running up front. Right behind him, Tim Szymanski. Tim Szymanski is now falling back to about a half second, now about 0.6 of a second, but he was trying to gain on him just a little while back, but seems to be losing that ground just a little bit once again. Still, we'll keep an eye on Tim Szymanski running in second here for tonight. By the way, he started in second as well. Jeff Sharp back behind him, running that Black Eye Racing machine. He started in fourth. He's up to third here since the start of the race. And Philip Temple started shotgun on the field. Started back in 11th position. He's been able to climb his way all the way up to 7th position. He's got himself a quick car here for tonight. Question is, does he have any kind of time? Now, one thing here with Philip Temple that you can see, looking at his best lap and looking at his last lap, that's right, we're already starting to see that tire fall off with times decreasing about a second here since the start of this race. We go back to 5th position, we'll find Matt Hoos. We talked to Matt before the start of this race. He was pretty sure it was going to stay a single groove racetrack. So far, he is correct. He is up 5 positions from where he started, currently running in 5th position. We go back from there. We will find the likes of Donnie Moore. Donnie his car seems to have stabilized a little bit here. He started in 3rd, fell back to 6th with a car that was looking kind of loose, but still off the pace from what the leaders were. In fact, looks like he's going to give up another spot here, in fact, to Brian Dean. In fact, he just moves over and lets Brian Dean by. So we'll talk about Brian here real quick as Brian moves up into the 6th position ahead of Donnie Moore, and he is up now 3 positions from where he started the race here for today. So now we got to go back to Mike Holloway. Mike Holloway started in 7th position. He's running 8th, so he's actually down 1, but he's had himself a very clean night. One of the cleanest looking cars still out there, hardly any damage on it. He is able to at least keep the car clean, and hopefully he'll bring it home that way as well. Go back to Lowell Jewell. Lowell was almost brought out of caution a while back with a little bit of a half spin. That caused him to drop a few spots, and indeed he is down 4 positions from where he started tonight, currently running in 9th position. Back behind him, we'll go to Matt Szymanski, who Matt was involved in one of the early incidents as well. Had to finally come down, get his free repair. He's gotten into the wall just a little bit, and he is he's just trying right now to stay the 1 car 1 lap down. That way, whenever the caution if it does come out, he's able to get back on the lead lap. But he's got to get going because J.R. Shepard, our leader, is right behind him. Give you an update on John Hine. I believe John pulled it into the pits. I don't currently see him on the racetrack. I still believe he is on pit road. Okay, so we got to go back to the battle for second here. Tim Shinoski has lost a lot of ground to Jeff Sharp. Now that gap down to about 0.3 of a second. If Tim Shinoski still has any speed left in that car, he's probably going to have to use it up right here. We got 49 laps to go, Dawson.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe Shinoski, in an attempt to catch the leader J.R. Shepard, he's used up his tires in the meantime. Jeff Sharp, you can see he's getting into them corners really well as we ride on board. But we're going to have to see if
Tim Shinoski's back in. Want to step out on him a little bit there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking tires. That's what it's starting to look like. But Shinoski's going to keep fighting that machine, and hopefully he can stay in front of him so we can have a battle for later on.
Well, that battle might happen sooner rather than later, as Jeff Sharp is just right there. He's just waiting for Tim Shinoski, I think, to make a mistake at this point. And Tim Shinoski is starting to play around a little bit with the lines. We mentioned maybe the high line not coming into effect, but it looks like he's trying to drift a half line up. Are you trying to find a little bit of grip, you think, Dawson?
Oh yeah, you can see that really bottom line. It's a lot darker than the rest of the track, and you can see he's just trying to put them right sides, entering a little bit higher. Yeah, sure enough, almost a half, 3/4 car length off of that bottom, not your normal position, but I don't blame him. If your car's not handling right, try and fix it. It's a fixed setup race, so everybody's driving the same thing, so it's all about the driver behind the car, and he's doing a great job trying to fix that problem driver-wise.
Well, right now, this is the battle on the racetrack, as J.R. Shepard taking advantage of this and starting to try to pull away from these two once again, as Jeff Sharp is just right there. He's just looking for any way that he can to get a run on Tim Shinoski. He's just waiting for that window, and so far, the only thing that's happening is they continue to lose time to the leader, J.R. Shepard. A couple laps ago, that gap was 0.4 of a second. Well, they've lost almost a full second now to the leader from where they were, 1.3 seconds. So if you're Jeff Sharp, are you thinking that, hey, I might be a little bit quicker than maybe what J.R. Shepard is right now. Should I use my bumper? Maybe a little bit of bump and run action?
Well, I don't know if he's going to have to use his bumper. I can tell Sharp he's trying that, moving up a little bit as well. So you can see Shinoski, he's got a little bit of room underneath. You don't want to use your bumper if you don't have to, and I think that gap down there might be enough for him to try and put his car in there. But we can see Shinoski's now gaining a little bit of time to Sharp. Sharp's really getting into the corners well, but Shinoski is getting out of them better. I think Sharp's going to have to use his advantage to getting underneath Shinoski.
And Donnie Moore has pulled it into the pits. Not sure if he's going to be done for the night or just taking a fast repair, but he's sitting there, so I'm thinking he might be done for the night. So just an ill-handling race car tonight for Donnie Moore, and I think he's going to give up the ghost here and call it good. So meanwhile, back with that battle, no, we're going to go back to Brian Dean and Mike Holloway. Mike Holloway underneath Brian Dean right now, trying to get a spot back here. He's looking for 6. It looks like he's going to be able to get it. Brian Dean loses 6th position to Mike Holloway.
Yeah, nice move there by Mike. It's just a good move by a champion, a former champion. As we know, we got the C next to his name. It's just a veteran move.
I think at this point, the likes of Mike Holloway and the likes of Philip Temples, just looking at their lap times compared to J.R. Shepard, I bet they wish this lap was a 225 lap event with the option to take tires, because they're pretty quick right now. They're faster than what your leader is, J.R. Shepard. Yeah,
and I wonder if maybe Shepard has used more tires than what we think. I know that with these times, I think they just ended up saving them, but it's a little too late in order. I don't think they have 8 seconds left in them tires in order to catch Shepard, but maybe a caution, maybe something could shuffle up.
Well, you got your leader right now, J.R. Shepard, on the screen, and just another dominating performance from J.R. Shepard here for tonight. He's led every single lap here so far. We've only had 1 caution, and that's saying something there. So these guys definitely getting tires are definitely getting a little hot and getting a little worn. Go back to that battle for second position. I thought I caught a glimpse of Jeff Sharp taking a look, but he's going to fall right back into line there behind Tim Shinosky. And meanwhile, while these two guys are kind of going at it a little bit, I think Matt Hoos has been catching him here just a little bit as well. He's still about a second back, but he might have enough time to be able to get up there and make this a 3-horse battle for second position.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see 3 cars go at it. I think Sharp's just going to... I think Sharp is ultimately faster than Shinosky, and I think he's losing time. He needs to get around Shinosky sooner rather than later. You got only 25 laps to do it. It's go time.
And that's one thing it definitely is. It is definitely now go time, and we're starting to see these guys do what they need to do. One guy, I gotta point him out here, that somehow or another has been able to stay 1 lap down and be able to keep the distance between him and the leader, is Matt Shinosky. Matt Shinosky is doing his best right now to stay out in front of J.R. Shepard. Is actually running a little bit faster at times than J.R. Shepard. So doing his best right now to take advantage of a caution maybe coming out and maybe being able to do something with that if he was able to get back on the lead lap. So once again, we got talk about Lowell Jewell here real quick. Lowell Jewell trying to go ahead and take a position for Philip Temples here. Philip Temples looks like he maybe got slowed up at some point, as Mike Holloway and Lowell Jewell have now gotten around him.
I bet you he, in order to get from 11th to 4th, he ended up burning off his tires, and now the guys, Mike Holloway, Lowell Jewell, knowing to save their tires, it's coming back around. The tables have turned, and now they're able to put Temples back down to 7th. Unfortunate for Temples starting that far back in the pack. He had to do that. That was really his only choice in order to have a shot at this race. He had to go right away and get them positions quick, but in the end, the guy slow and steady wins the race. That's what they always say.
Well, we talked a few laps ago about Matt Hoos maybe catching those guys. Matt Hoos is there. He is right on the back bumper of Jeff Sharp, and it seems like since Matt Hoos got there, the gap kind of widened just a touch between Shinosky and Sharp, as I think Sharp now has eyes in the rear view mirror, but now he's starting to look forward again as he's getting very close to the back bumper of Shinosky, particularly through the middle part of the corner. These guys, it is a fun race. It is 19 laps to go. Obviously, they don't want to wreck each other, but I did see in practice a couple guys practicing a little bit of kind of a bump and run type action, and you got to think at a short track like this, it's got to be an option to you, as it looks like Matt Hoos is going to take a look, but not able to do anything with a look below Tim Shinosky. Jeff Sharp.
Yeah, Jeff Sharp
there
not
we
going to
go.
look inside.
Almost. Tim
Hoos?
Shinosky shut the door on Jeff Sharp, made him get out of the gas, and he's going to end up now having Matt Hoos get side by side with him, but Matt Hoos dove it in there, isn't able to make it stick, so we're right back where we started from with these guys running nose to tail. Tim Shinosky really slows up in the middle part of the corner there between 1 and 2, and that is another reason why Jeff Sharp had to back out of it. I'm looking at Tim Shinosky's line. It seems like every lap he's drifting a little bit higher, and what that's doing is it's opening up the door back there for Jeff Sharp right now.
Well, if you're Tim Shinosky, you're looking at your rear view mirror and you see Matt Hoos coming, but the more Hoos and Sharp race each other, the bigger lead Shinosky's going to get. So somehow they either need to figure out who's going to get by Shinosky and sort that out. I think Hoos right now, out of all 3 of these guys, is the fastest. Is he going to go to the high side? Try the high side. He's going to get it to work. It's the extra run down the straightaway.
Yeah, it's that entry right now. Let's see if he can do anything with it here. It's going to be a multiple lap pass, I think, or maybe not. He's able to shut the door on Jeff Sharp. Jeff Sharp has to get on the binders hard enough to make him smoke. By the way, we mentioned the likes of Mike Holloway maybe wanting this to be another 100 laps or so. I actually see him back there now. He's catching these guys too, along with Lowell Jewell. They're just going to run out of time, as those guys are some of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. Going back up to second, Matt Hoos has a good look inside Tim Shinosky. Matt Hoos in that 21 machine is now trying to do something. He's got side by side. He's got the preferred position. Tim Shinosky, I think all he can do right now is sit back and watch. And is he going to get freight trained here? Is Jeff Sharp going to be able to sneak in there and shuffle him all the way back to 4th position, maybe. No, Tim Shinoski's able to get back in line.
Sharp had his chances for quite a few laps there. Now, the same thing is happening. He's got to get past Shinoski. It's going to be a close one here. We're coming up on 9 to go.
Yeah, we don't want to forget that Matt, who started this thing near shotgun on the field, he started in 10th position. He's up 8 spots from where he started the race. So he is just, he was the one that I think out of everybody found the right balance between saving tires and going for broke. And right now he is paying off with a 2nd place run, at least as things stand right now. And he's actually about a 1/10 of a second faster than your leader, J.R. Shepard. The problem is, all that battling made them lose 3.5 seconds on J.R. Shepard. That's how far out in front he is now with those guys fighting amongst each other as Matt Hoos continues to separate himself behind him and Tim Shinoski. And Tim Shinoski and Jeff Sharp are just kind of left exactly where they were a little while ago, running nose to tail and not able to do much else. And you got guys like Mike Holloway back there that are doing their best to try to catch up to him before the end of this race and maybe get another position back behind for him.
Yeah, this battle here on screen, it's the final podium spot. It's going to be an interesting one. Shinoski, you've seen he's moved up a little bit. We even saw Matt Hoos was able to use the high line to get around Jeff Sharp. I wonder if Sharp should maybe try and do the same thing around Shinoski here. He's got to try something different because whatever he's doing right now, he's just not finding much success.
Well, success or not, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty here. 3 laps to go. No, make that 2 laps to go for your leader, J.R. Shepard. We're going to ride with him. We'll keep a kind of another eye back there and see if any moves are made. But right now, J.R. Shepard getting ready to take the white flag. He's got one more trip around Southern National Speedway, and he's going to be a champion here for the Champion Series Chris Kyle Frog Foundation. 125. He's going to lead all 125 of those laps tonight, leading flag to flag. J.R. Shepard takes home the checkered flag. Coming home in second, Matt Hoos, Tim Shinoski, Jeff Sharp, Mike Holloway. Yeah, those are your top 5 right there. We'll run down the rest of the field in just a moment. Well, hey, it was definitely almost an interesting race there at the end with Matt Hoos coming strong, but J.R. Shepard had built himself up a pretty sizable lead by that point and was able to still pull this thing out by 2.5 seconds over second place Matt Hoos. So your winner, J.R. Shepard, Matt Hoos coming along in second position after a great battle with him, Tim Shinosky in third, and Jeff Sharp in fourth. Another guy that was coming at the tail end of that race, well, actually, next two guys were on their way. Mike Holloway and Lowell Jewell, they probably wish this race was about 50 to 60 laps longer. Philip Temples had fallen to 7th. Brian Dean coming home in 8th. Matt Shinosky, I got to give Matt Shinosky a lot of credit for tonight. He had to come in. He had to take his free repair. He was able to keep the car only 1 lap down. He was just hoping he would see a caution. It never came. 10th position is going to come to Donnie Moore, who was fighting an ill-handling car all night. And in last position, your Donnie Moore and John Hine were your only 2 retirees here for this evening's race. All right, so we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to go from third to first, and first person we're going to bring in is your third place finisher here for tonight, Tim Shinosky coming home in third, and Dawson's caught up with him.
Hey Tim, nice race all in all. It was a great battle there near the end. How are you feeling?
A little tired. That extra 25 laps, it doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but it wears you out there towards the end.
Well, it weared you out. It also weared them tires out. We saw later there, Jeff Sharp, he caught you. Matt Hoos, he caught both of you guys and went around you guys. You were just able to hold off Jeff Sharp. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the tires definitely started to go away for me around probably just about after halfway, and just having to run hard to stay up there with JR, and he wasn't running hard at all, but it took a lot just to stay with him there early in the race.
So right there, that first half, you were really concerned about just chasing JR, and were you thinking at all about tires, or was it just number one goal, get JR?
Well, I mean, saving tires in the back of your mind, but at the same time, when JR is right there in front of you, it's hard to run not 100%. So it's either way, I didn't think I had a really good chance. So I just wanted to try to stay up with him and try to pass him if possible, but just couldn't quite get there.
Well, I tell you what, you gave a great effort all night. You were really working your car, and in return, you got a podium finish here in third place. So congratulations, and I'm assuming we'll see you next season for the series?
Yeah, I'll be back next season. Congrats to JR on winning tonight and winning the championship. It's definitely a lot of fun racing with him, and hats off to Matt Hoos and Jeff Sharp. It was a lot of fun racing with them tonight.
All right, thanks Tim for coming in, and now Adam, we're going to catch up with Matt Hoos.
Yeah, we'll get Tim. Good luck to you, Tim, next season. We'll talk to you later, and we're going to get Matt Hoos here in the booth. And hey, Matt, great run here for tonight. You were definitely the hard charger of the race, and I got to say, do you wish this lap had about another 25 more laps so you would have had a shot at J.R. Shepard?
I definitely do. I was still good. That thing was still hooked up, and it was moving.
Well, you'd mentioned in your pre-race interview when we were talking to you that the balance that you were going to have to find between going fast and saving tires, and it definitely seemed like you found that balance. And was that in the back of your mind right at the start of the race, or was that something that you try to separate yourself out a little bit from traffic first?
It was trying to just get stuff settled down, and then once everything kind of settled down, in practice, I found my lift points that I wanted to hit, and I was hitting them just about every lap, and I just, whether there was somebody behind me or in front of me, I just never wavered from hitting those spots. I think that's what kept the tires on it for me.
Well, of course, we sometimes talk about these special events being kind of carriers as far as momentum and everything else going into the next season. So with the Bootleg Racing League series, on the multiple series starting up here next week again, you hoping to make a run in those?
Yeah, I was coming back full time this season, so this is a good way to come back, finish out this season with a good finish, and hopefully we'll start out next season. And congrats to JR for winning the race.
All right. Well, hey, good job on getting second here for tonight. Fantastic battle with you and Shinosky and Jeff Sharp, and wish you all the best here next season.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. So that was Matt Hoos, and now I believe that Dawson is caught up with your winner, J.R. Shepard.
Yep. JR, you won the season, and then tonight you came out and you put that 98 machine into victory lane. Seems like no matter what, even if it's an SK modified, a super late model, or a truck, you seem to just win it all. How do you keep doing this?
It's tough. It's not with a lot of luck, and I mean it's every one of these machines drives a little bit differently, and it's just knowing how to not drive the car over the limits of the tire and the setup. And I've really tried hard the last couple of seasons to get that down, and it seems like it's worked pretty well.
Well, if you look on paper, it definitely has worked very well. Now, tonight you had a little bit of challenge from Donnie early on, then he kind of faded out of the picture. Then you had Tim Shinosky. He was starting to catch you, and then he just kind of faded back. It seemed like you were able to put a great pace down and keep it going. You didn't push at once and then lose time. It seemed like you had a really consistent battle. Was that just saving tires, or were you just concerned about putting good times down?
No, I was definitely concerned about saving the tires right from the get-go, and I was doing a lot of mirror driving early on, just trying to see where everybody else's pace was, and very early on I was trying to back everybody up, but like you said, Donnie and then a little bit later on Tim were pushing pretty good there, so I was just trying to stay in front of them and save the tires as much as I could. And then with about 40 laps to go, I started to push a little bit because I knew guys like Matt Hoos was going to be coming up from the back, and I knew I had to get a pretty good lead in order to hold those guys off.
Well, thanks to that little 3-car trio battling for them other 2 podium spots, you were able to get a 3.5 second lead. But after the race was over, we saw that dropped down to 2.5 seconds. Now, we talked to Matt and we said, wow, if that had been, 20 laps extra, do you think you could have catch JR? And he thought, yeah, maybe. He definitely had his car with plenty of tires. You think if it would have won an extra 20 laps, did you have more in the tank, or did you pretty much just use it all up?
No, I think it was pretty well gone. If Hoos had been up there a little bit earlier, it would have it'd probably been interesting for a few laps, but I think he would have gone by and pulled away for sure. I really think we just used the tires up way too early in the race, trying to keep that pace.
Well, next week we start the next season of the Bootleg Racing League. You going to be ready for that?
I think I'm going to take next season off. I may come back and run a couple of races with these guys because it's a lot of fun, and these are great competitors. But yeah, I'll be back maybe the season after that, and we'll continue having fun. The Bootleg Racing League is a great place to come to. So anybody that's looking for a good home, a good league to race with, check us out.
Well, I tell you what, we look forward to having you drop in next season and look forward to you coming back full-time the season after. So thanks for stopping by.
Hey, thank you guys. Great broadcast tonight.
Well, that was your winner, J.R. Shepard. Congratulations to him. And I tell you what, Dawson, everybody deserves a break. And if J.R. Shepard wants to take a break, I'm not going to say too much about it. We know we'll see him again, obviously, here in the Bootleg Racing League.
Yeah, definitely, and I think he, out of all guys, he's put in a lot of time and a lot of work. I'm sure he really deserves that break.
Well, that about wraps things up for us here for tonight. Dawson, we'll be looking forward to hearing you and Sean when he comes back to call this race next week. And we want to thank, obviously, the Bootleg Racing League for organizing the Outlaw Modified Series and the Champion Series that you saw here for tonight, and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. For more series information about the Bootleg Racing League, try facebook.com/Bootleg Racing League, and then bootlegracingleague.com. Both websites, both the Facebook page and the website, great information, and just want to direct people there.
The Christian Family Construction Outlaw Modified Series, Modified Series will be back next Yeah, new sponsor for next season. They will be back next week, round 1 of the new season. Join us at Langley Speedway. For more information about that and other things concerning GSRC, your best bet is to go to the globalsimracingchannel.com. We are also on Twitter at GSRC Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel.
And here's a tip, Dawson. If you ever have to do that with Bill, he's going to make you say GSRC the way he does. Just warning you. And he's going to make you tell him where that came from. Just a heads up. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Guckombe and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Finally, on behalf of my partner this evening, Dawson Brock, our director Joe Peak, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Now, with that, we're going to go ahead and turn maybe some laps ourselves at Southern National. So until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.